So I installed a 420 big block on this Coleman bike with a PZ30 carb, a header pipe, and then a Go Power Sports Stage 2 kit with a billet rod, billet flywheel, 3-weight cam, and then the springs. And then it's also running a Go Power Sports 40 series torque converter with a 40 rear sprocket. And even with the 40 rear sprocket, the bike still did 2.58 from 0 to 30, and that wasn't even getting on it all the way.
There's 30 right there. This thing knocked out 30 like nothing.
I mean, it's really hard to launch even with the 40 sprocket. And then it did a top speed of 65 miles an hour. So this time around, I've added a pit bike exhaust. So I cut down the header pipe and then welded up some brackets and then mounted the muffler, and it turned out pretty good. And it sounds fantastic. So I'll take the bike out for a 0 to 30 and top speed with the pit bike muffler, and I'll see if I can beat those times. 65 miles an hour and 2.58 from 0 to 30. And then I'll come back and I'll swap out the 40 series driver that came with the kit for this Comet Driver. And then we'll see if the bike will gain any performance that way. Hopefully I can better the 0 to 30 times and maybe gain a little top speed, but I'm not sure. We'll find out. So this thing sounds fantastic with that pit bike muffler on here. So even if it doesn't gain performance, at least it sounds good.
It seems pretty quick. Let me get this draggy hooked up here. All right, let me see if I can beat 2.58 without doing a wheelie. I'll just kind of roll into it. Oh man, it gets 30 quick. I just rolled into that one and it was 2.65. So we're right there. So it definitely didn't hurt performance. It actually seems maybe a little bit quicker. I don't know if it's just because of the sound, but it feels snappy. Let me try it again. Okay, second attempt. 0 to 30. See if I can beat 2.58. Okay, 2.56. And that was rolling into it again with a little wheelie. So it was actually a little bit quicker. And I definitely could go a lot quicker if I could launch it. Now I'll go do a top speed and see if we can beat 65 miles an hour. Even when it shifts into high gear, you can still feel the torque of this thing. All right, let me go see if I can do 65 down here. Run down this side street, get off this main road. almost 65 going up the hill. So it definitely didn't hurt the top speed either. So we did 64.33 going up the street. And last time around it did 65 going down, so the muffler definitely didn't hurt performance.
So the bike didn't lose any performance. It got a little bit quicker and faster. So when I first added the big block to the Coleman bike with a header pipe and an air filter, I didn't get a 0 to 30 time, but I got a top speed, 61.98. Then I added the 40 series torque converter from Go Power Sports. We got a 2.69 0 to 30 and a 60.21 top speed. Then I added the Go Power Sports Stage 2 kit, billet flywheel, billet rod, and a 308 cam with the springs. And we dropped a little bit, 2.58 from 0 to 30. So it dropped a little more than a tenth, and then gained quite a bit of top speed, 65 miles an hour top speed. And then today I added the pit bike exhaust to the setup, and we did 2.56. So virtually the same 0 to 30. I mean, maybe just a speck quicker, and then gained a little bit of top speed, 65.51. So the pit bike exhaust definitely didn't hurt performance. I mean, it's virtually the same as it was before, but it sounds a lot better. So now I'll add the Comet Driver and we'll see what it does. So this should be an easy swap, easy performance swap. So this driver looks like it's stuck open. Yeah, I thought this thing felt weird coming up the street. It didn't feel like it shifted right. So it must be one of the rollers got wedged in one of the slides. It happens from time to time. I mean, not a big deal. So on these drivers, the nut is welded on here. So I made up this tool to pull this thing apart. So I made it out of this 1-inch bar, and then I put a groove in it, or cut a groove in it, and it slides in the driver here into the keyway, and then turn it, and it breaks it loose. And then it's spring loaded, so I gotta watch this when it comes out. There you go. So we'll see here. So one of the weights is out of the slide just a little bit, and then it holds it open. Pull these weights off of here. So usually I'll just make sure that there's no ridges on any of these slides. And then I'll usually take my wire brush here and just make sure the shaft is clean, and then I'll use some graphite lubricant on here and then a little bit in the slide. Then when I spray the lubricant on here, I make sure I don't get any lubricant on this surface here that the belt rides on. I don't want that belt to slip. Put my weights and springs back down on here. I usually hit this with a little graphite spray. Then I'll spray a little down in here without getting any on the belt surface here. There we go. Then I'll pop the spring on here. Then I line up these grooves here with the rollers. That's easy enough. Then I'll tighten it down in the vise. Using my homemade tool here. Tighten this thing down. So I could have just threw a roller and spring kit in here to raise the stall speed a little bit, because the driver that comes with the kit works just fine, and I probably could have got some more performance out of it. But like I said, for the premise of this video, I wanted to test the driver that came with the kit against the Comet Driver. Okay, so let's go test it out and see if I can beat up on 65 65.51 and 2.56, 0 to 30.
I mean, it might not make much of a difference at all, but we'll find out. Might as well test it out since I have it here. Get this draggy hooked up. Okay, 0 to 30 with the Comet Driver on the 420 big block. Okay, I just rolled into it. Did a 2.70. So it's pretty much the same, but let me see if I can better that time. I think I can. Second attempt, 0 to 30 with the Comet Driver. A 2.55, so the quickest time so far with the Comet Driver. And I know I can even do better than that. Like I said, it's just hard launching this thing. So we'll see what it does for top speed now. See if I can beat 65.51. We're running down the same road here. Okay, so we gained a little bit of top speed so far. It already did 66.10. So it was a little bit quicker and a little bit faster.
So the bike was a little bit quicker and a little bit faster with the Comet Driver. So with the driver that came with the kit, we did 2.56 0 to 30 and 65.51 top speed. Then I added the Comet Driver and we did 2.55, so virtually the same. And then we gained some top speed, 66.88 top speed. So we definitely gained a little bit of top speed with the Comet Driver. And the 0 to 30 times, it's really hard to tell. I mean, they're virtually the same because it's so hard to launch the bike, even with a 40 sprocket. I mean, this thing would need a wheelie bar to get a good launch to be able to actually compare the two drivers from 0 to 30. And the pit bike exhaust sounds so much better. So in the next video, I have one more mod to do to possibly get this bike closer to 70 miles an hour, or maybe even break 70 miles an hour without pulling the head.